So I just got done playing Marvel Cosmic Invasion, and I must say that this game actually snuck in as one of my favorite games of the year. Pleasantly surprised with this game. I was a little nervous when they announced the game back whenever they announced it, and I saw the screenshots and I'm like, oh, they're just trying to do a beat 'em up with the Marvel characters to get that Marvel bread real quick. But when the game came out and I actually played through it, I was pleasantly surprised. It has a very tight control scheme, unique characters. The gameplay is actually very solid. They have this cool duo team up system to where you play as two players and you can call on another player to back you up at any point in time. Very, very fun. And overall, like, I'm actually pretty impressed with this game. Like, I think that the team that made this game, which I think is Totemu, something like that. I don't know the name, honestly. Should be better at this. But they did a really good job of putting together a game that feels like a 90s beat 'em up. And when I say 90s beat 'em up, I'm talking like games like X-Men or even like Ninja Turtles or The Simpsons, like those classic arcade style beat 'em up games. They absolutely nailed it on this game. Now, with that said, like I did say, it's one of my favorite games of the year, sneaking in last minute, but I wouldn't say that the game's perfect. The game definitely has some flaws and some things that are like, they could have did better here. But overall, I would probably give this game like a solid like 8 out of 10, just based off of vibes. Like if you're a Marvel fan, if you like classic beat 'em ups, I'm talking games like Streets of Rage, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, X-Men, The Simpsons, all the old school cabinet games. If you're a fan of those games, which I absolutely love, that's actually one of my favorite genres of games, then this is a must play. Absolute must play. And they have a bunch of cool features in the game too, where you can actually turn the visuals into a CRT TV so it looks like an arcade panel or cabinet. It's pretty sick. They did a good job of like packing out the game with a lot of features to keep a person interested. The replay value is pretty high for me. Like as soon as I beat the game on story mode, which we'll get into, I immediately played the game again in arcade mode just to see what the difference was. And the main difference here is that with arcade mode, it plays like an arcade. Like you're going into an arcade game and you're playing with quarters. You have a certain amount of lives. You can do continues. And you can actually go in there and tweak all the settings the way that you want. And you can give yourself like unlimited lives or like doppelganger characters. Like say if you guys both want to be Spider-Man, you can tweak the settings so you can do that. And then you can control the number of lives you get, or if you want to have continues. There's a lot of like customization in the arcade side of things. But on the story side of things, it's actually very no frills, straightforward. Now, what's interesting about it is that in the story mode, that's how you actually build your characters. So each character has, a tier system. They get points for beating up guys, and you can use those points at the end of the level to unlock stuff. It does it automatically. You don't get to choose what you get to unlock. But you beat a bunch of guys, you level up, and I think you can get your players up to like level 10 on the game. But you can only do that in story mode, which I think is a bit of a misstep. They should have had that in arcade mode too, which doesn't quite make sense to me. But I think that with arcade mode, it has the design for that is to have this classic beat 'em up style arcade game feel to it. You could play up to 4 players too. So, I mean, you can get all your homies together and either play online via crossplay, or if you have 4 PlayStation, Xbox, Switch controllers, it's on all systems. You can play locally. So that's a really cool feature. Like they really like tapped into the 90s arcade feel. Like that was definitely like how they're going into it. Like, yo, we need to lock this in. But with that said, there's a little bit of a caveat with that. Now, if you guys are my age, I'm in my 40s, and you've played these games before, like these cabinet games, whether they're X-Men or The Simpsons or whatever, they're very, very, very light on the story. Like very light. And Cosmic Invasion is no exception. In fact, I would say that one of the things that's keeping me from giving this game a higher score is the fact that the story is pretty light. Now, basically the story is that a nihilist is taking over the Marvel universe by possessing different villains, and you got to fight them. I think the main character of the game is actually Nova, the way that it's set up, especially if you play the last game or the last level and you look at the challenges. I'm pretty sure the game is built around Nova, which is fine. But the game is so light on story that there's not really like a lot of explanation for why they chose the heroes that they chose. And I think that's a missed opportunity. And I know that this game is a little bit on the indie side of things in terms of the team that built it, but it would have been cool if we had like special storylines or special or unique storylines or unique paths that you could take with each player. Kind of like when you play the game in Mortal Kombat and you beat the game with whatever character, you get a particular ending for that character. You don't get any of that in this game. Like I said, it's very straightforward. And it's a very missed opportunity because there are some interesting characters in this game, including like Cosmic Ghost Rider, you got Silver Surfer, you got your classic Spider-Man and Wolverine and Captain America, Black Panther's in there. We also have Dark Phoenix is in the game. And there's really like no explanation for why these characters are in the game. They're just in there. It seemed like they just like kind of drew some names out of the hat and we're like, okay, bet we're putting this in the game, putting this in the game. Maybe there's like a vote. I don't know. But that's where I think they kind of dropped the ball a bit because the story is super duper light. So if you're going into this game like hoping for like a very in-depth story with like amazing voice acting and cinematic action sequences and a lot of depth to it, you're not going to get that in this game. If you're looking for like Easter eggs and maybe a couple of cool stuff from the Marvel Universe, you will find that if you look hard enough. But beyond that, this game in the story department is pretty mid to light. And that's where I think the game hurts the most. But with that in mind, like the game was never designed to be that kind of game. Like it was never designed to be like this huge in-depth lore-based game. It was supposed to be a straight-up beat-em-up that you play with your kids or play with your friends real quick. And in that department, they absolutely nailed it. But like I said earlier, I think it's a missed opportunity because there are so many interesting characters, and I'm curious to know like how they decided to come together, put together the story to make the story work the way that it does, which is very light. Overall, though, I would say that, like I said, this game really snuck in as one of my favorite games this year. And this is a game that's in a sea of other action-packed games and amazing games that have come out. It's not game of the year for me, but it's in the top 10. I probably put it in the top 10 of like best games that I played this year. And that's saying a lot. Like I said, we got a lot of good games that came out this year. And I might make a video about game of the year, my personal game of the year here soon. So make sure you guys like and follow and tap in with that so you guys can check in. But I want to know what you guys think is your game of the year. Is it Expedition 33, which is running away with all the nominations? Or is it something smaller? Is it Death Stranding 2? Is it Donkey Kong? I don't know. You guys let me know in the comments. I'm very curious to know what you think. And also, I want to know what you guys think about Marvel Cosmic Invasion. Did you guys like the game? Did you enjoy it? Now, keep in mind that I beat the whole game in about, I'd say like 5 hours. Not even, give or take. Maybe 6. So it's a very, very short game, but the game really kind of makes up for it in replay value. Like I said, there's a craving to play again with different characters. But that's kind of only in arcade mode. And what's weird about arcade mode is that you can't level up your character in arcade mode. You can only level it up in story mode. And story mode is fine, but it's a little restrictive, I guess, in terms of how the game plays. You can't even adjust the difficulty, and you just kind of play through the story and play through that. So I think that's where they kind of like dropped the ball just a little bit, is like making the story a little bit too light and making it so that if you didn't want to even mess with the story, that you can still level up your characters. You should be able to do that in arcade mode, and maybe they'll do that in the update. It seems like a small tweak that they could fix. But there's also a feature in there that kind of increases replay value where you can reset your character all the way from the jump. Like say if you play this game a bunch and you just love it and you unlocked all the characters and all your characters are at level 10, you can go to the option menu and actually like literally just delete all the progression. So you can start over with a fresh start and give the game a new fresh coat of paint, try different character builds, etc. and so forth. But all in all, strong game. I would give it like an 8 out of 10. I would love to know what you guys think, though. Did you guys play Marvel Cosmic Invasion? Did you guys play it yet? Tap in below in the comments and make sure you guys like, follow, and subscribe. I got plenty more content coming your way. This is Starstruck Multimedia, your boy Jaron Ikner. Peace.